Sometimes the things that we cannot access becomes the very things that we end up building for the world. And when it comes to the mental health, those gaps can feel especially painful. The wait lists, the cost, the scheduling, the emotional overwhelm on the uh, asking for the help, right? So, hey, dear listeners, welcome back to another powerful episode of Healthy Mind and Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today's guest, please welcome Ali Yilmaz. So, welcome, Vishal.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, before we delve deep into the discussion, I'll quickly love to introduce you with Ali. So, while I mentioned about this, Ali knows that experience personally. So, he's the co founder and CEO of AI Therapy, an AI powered CBT coach, now helping thousands of people challenge that negative thoughts, manage the anxiety, and build emotional resilience, like privately, affordably, and instantly. So he didn't come from the mental health world. So he came to the US as an engineer, chasing opportunity while also quietly struggling with the loneliness, anxiety, and the pressure that so many people in high achieving environments face. So traditional therapy wasn't kind of accessible. It wasn't affordable and it didn't fit the rhythm of his life as well. So he did what the best innovators do. He designed what he needed but couldn't find. So he turned a late night personal experiment into a kind of global tool rooted in the cognitive behavioral therapy and built on empathy, structure, and the privacy. So today we are driving into how that journey unfolded and what it means for the future of mental health support. So, dear listeners, I will not take much of your time. Let's get started. Welcome to the show again. So, um, I mean, so Ali, like, you have shared that therapy wasn't something that you
Mhm.
could easily access, uh,
Yeah.
like financially or logistically. So, one was the moment
hmm
when you realize that I need help, but
Yeah.
I don't have to. I don't have a way to get it. So,
hmm Yeah. I guess like what you said was a great way to put it. Like the thing I couldn't get, I created for myself. And it just happened to be that a lot of people will actually needed that thing. But for me, the moment was like, as you also said, I moved to the United States when I was 23 and I was working as an engineer, as a product manager, actually. And I got a promotion at when I was at 24. I got a promotion and I became a senior product manager. And it was a lot for me at that time as like a workload, but also as a responsibility too. Because I was very young and working with a very good team, combining very good engineers, very good designers, and it was a very high pace environment. And my problem was coming from that. My problem was a lot of anxiety, self doubt. And when you're anxious every day, it just leads to a depression. And when I was I live in Las Vegas right now. When I was living in Las Vegas, I didn't really have any friends. I have some friends I made in America, but I didn't have that old, long term friends or my family, which could be a support cycle for a lot of people that goes through hard things. And that was just another point that kind of triggered more anxiety and uh, like not living a good life, basically, in my mind. And like as every person probably have an internet access, I was like, okay, I need therapy right now. Like I am
mm,
not doing good mentally. I know I am doing good in other parts of my world that I'm doing good in my career. I am doing good in my life, but in my mental health, I am not really doing good, and I'm not, due to that, I'm not living a very good life. So I knew I needed therapy. Like I was convinced that I have to go to therapy. I didn't have that stigma in my mind. So I just start to look for the options. Like, how can I get therapy? How can I start? Because when you never be to therapy before, you don't know how it works. You don't know how you
Mm.
uh, started. Like, the only thing you know is basically the things you see on movies. A guy asking you about your childhood. You know.
Yeah.
So I started looking for it. The first thing was always, of course, the online options. And I realized that most of the online options are not accepting the insurance. So you have to be paid like $250 for an hour, for like 50 minutes, to get therapy without even knowing if that therapist is the one that you're going to click with, or even if you actually need therapy. So that was my first thought. That was my first, let's say, experiment to start therapy. And I just, it just didn't feel right to me to start that way. And I actually tried with some other online things. Like, I don't want to give names, but I tried some of the best known ones on the internet, and they were not very effective for me at that time. And they were so expensive and so hard to schedule for my time, let's say. Then I tried the local ones, like I tried face to face, and I just realized that it's the same thing. I guess nothing different really. It's again like the cost is a lot and the scheduling is hard. And some, I can say, good ones, some good therapists that I have been suggested to will have very long wait list. Like, I remember the one had 3 month wait list, and he wasn't accepting everybody. I was like, okay, like then, like, I'm gonna wait for 3 months and I might not even get accepted. So that, then, like, I am an engineer and I have a curious mind. I was like, okay, what is happening in those therapy rooms that is so hard to get? Like, what is so expensive? What are they gonna help me with that they know that I don't know, and it's like that expensive? Like, can I learn what's happening? So that's how I started looking for more self help tools, self help frameworks, and CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy, was the first thing I found, because cognitive behavioral therapy is the main framework of most of the therapists. Like, most of therapists use it as a main framework, especially for the uh, like a beginner or the mild versions of anxiety, depression, or any kind of mental health issues. And it was also be used as a self help tool too. Like, there are a lot of books, there are a lot of worksheets that use the CBT uh, as a self help tool. So I was like, okay, this is the one. Like, I have to learn this thing. That I have to understand how it's working, and I can use this without maybe needing to go to therapy. Or if I even go to therapy, this would help me with the therapy. So when I started learning cognitive behavioral therapy, I just realized how static it is, how formulated it is, and how there are very strict framework, very bordered framework to help you think and help you help yourself. Not really giving you the advice, not really giving you the solution, but pushes you to understand your way of thinking, and pushes you to see the negative thinking patterns that is actually causing the anxiety, that is actually causing the depression. I was like, okay, like, that is like, I remember reading these things. I was reading a book called Feeling Good, Feeling Great. I guess it's either Feeling Good or Feeling Great by David Burns. I remember realizing it. I was like, okay, like, that's exactly what I need, because the anxiety that I had at that time was not coming from me being bad in my job, me be living a bad life. It was all in my head. It was all self doubt. And learning some of the CBT tools, some of the CBT frameworks helped me a lot. Like, helped me frustrate, like, helped me weirdly too much in a very easy way. It was of changing how you think, like asking the very easy question of, do you have proof for what you think is true? So that moment was like, okay, if this is so formulated, and me reading a book, that book asking me a question helps me this much. And I was lucky at that time that I was working with AI. What if I can make this applied with AI? Because it's very static, it is very formulated. And I know that AI, even though it's in its core, it's a large language model and it is doing reasoning in a way, and it can do perfectly the static frameworks, then why had AI can do that? So AI therapy's first version was just me trying to put everything I know about CBT, everything I can find online about CBT, and you can find a lot about CBT online, uh, putting in an AI language model and see if it worked. And it was working. It worked better than reading a book. Because when you're reading a book, you are like reading at, like 80 pages a day, and you understand maybe 25% of it, 30% of it when you are reading it. But when you have a specific question in your mind and asking that question to AI, and AI gives you the answer, it is just very fast and very easy way of learning the CBT part and applying the CBT. So that's how actually like how AI therapy born from basically me just being curious and learning about CBT, and was lucky enough to know AI.
That's really amazing, I have to say. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, um like ask, like, h- how did that frustration gradually turn into kind of curiosity about the CVT, um like, and how this how the mind works. I'm very impressed.
Mhm. Yeah. So can you ask me the question again?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, ho- I mean, about this frustration, right? How that it gradually turn into a kind of curiosity about the
Yeah.
CVT. Yeah.
I guess it had to turn because I didn't have any other choice to get help in a way. Like I couldn't find, I really couldn't find a way to get a therapy session, or it didn't have to be therapy at that time. It could be anything. It could be a mental health counseling. It could be some kind of coach. I didn't have the opportunity to get that, and not just because financial. Like it was making me uncomfortable to pay that much money for something that I don't know if it's gonna work. But also, it was the my bias of
Okay.
not knowing what it is, and I don't think it is communicated very well to society that what therapy is, what mental health support is. Like I remember reading like a week ago in Twitter, like in X, it's like kind of going viral that people think if the therapist is younger than themselves, then the therapist can help them. This actually shows the misunderstanding of what therapy is. But people think therapy is a guy sitting there and giving the advice, like most of the time. And they think if somebody's younger than me, they can't give me advice. But that's not therapy is at all. Like if a therapist is giving you life advice, he's doing something wrong. Like, like it has to help you help yourself. It has to help you realize your patterns. And that frustration turned into curiosity because of the environment. Like because that wasn't communicated to me by the therapist, or maybe I was not enough. I was not searching enough. I was not in that community enough. Because now I know, because I have been working in the last 2 years. But I remember 3, 4 years ago, I thought therapy was giving advice too. I thought there's going to be some wise men sitting there and telling me all the life secrets, and I'm gonna be like, okay, that worth my money. Let me fix my life. So
Yeah.
kind of had to. Not really. Nothing drove it. Everything drove it. Not something specific, but everything basically.
I agree. Totally agree with you. And definitely, I mean, yes, the mental health systems, I mean, often, I'd say, fails the way people who need it most. And your story is definitely a perfect example of how innovation can be born from the pain. So that is what I definitely feel that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good thing to say. Yeah, innovation that borns from the pain, because people really need a reason to change things. Because if something is not painful enough, you don't
Hmm.
change it. Like
Correct. Correct. I mean, that was the thinking basically, right? So, uh, yeah. And also, like, I mean, for the CBT, was there a moment when one concept, like, what to say, like reframing the thoughts or maybe noticing cognitive distortions, shifted something in you immediately or something?
yeah, I guess like the very common uh, tip or very common framework that like changing, reframing the thoughts part, and also looking for a proof is like I maybe use it like 4 or 5 times in a day in my life, and I know it's the main thing for a lot of therapy sessions in real life, and it's a very big thing in AI therapy too. S- Because most of the problems in everybody's life is coming from the negative thinking about that problem. And of course, there are real problems. Like if you lost your job and you're not gonna have money to pay rent next month, it doesn't help you to think not think negatively, but it has other stuff. It has other stuff to help you with that part. But most of the time, people who have anxiety, people who have depression caused by anxiety or self doubt or other things that is like more common in people is can be fixed by very easy, not can be fixed, but can be uh, reframed by just looking for a proof. I guess that is the one thing for me personally. And I know a lot of people using AI therapy or going to therapy get benefits from this simple thing. They're just looking for a proof and realizing that what they are thinking is not the reality. And in that CBQ triangle, basically, when you change your thinking, when you change your thought, then you change your feeling about it, and then you change your behavior. So it just complete itself.
Got it. Got it. So, and also, you started building air therapy not as a company, but something you personally needed. So, what did those early days look like for you?
Yeah, that was like I like those early days a lot because like I was working as a product manager, and as a product manager, you know that when a product is good, it's MVP or its first version, some kind of demo, really like extraction. Like people ask for more. You just you don't do anything, but people ask for it. So that kind of what happened with AI therapy too, and I was very lucky about it. And I tried some other startups before too, none of them got this much pull from the people. How it happened was I was just using myself. Like AI therapy was a very simple chatbot. It didn't even have a memory at that time. It was remembering the sessions. Like when I log out from the website, it wasn't even a website, it was a local thing. When I log out from it, when I like stop talking about it, then come back at 5 minutes later, like, it doesn't remember anything. And my roommate at that time was curious on like, what is this? And I gave it to him, and then he started using it, and then he gave it to his son. But my roommate was like like an older gentleman than me. I get along better with older people, living with older people, and he gave it to his son, and then his son started using it. Then his son emailed me about how much he liked it. I was like, oh, like that is so interesting. And his son, like I asked some other stuff about to his son, like we were just poking, and he mentioned that he suggests to some of his friends and also his daughter. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Somebody is getting enough benefit from this thing to suggest to their children twice in a row. So I was like, okay, this is actually this actually can be like, this can be something a lot of people need, and this can be something a lot of people would use. So then I put that, like I already put that in the website when I gave it to my roommate. I was like a very weird URL and stuff. Like I just didn't want to pay a lot of money, and I just put it to that AI therapy domain, and I just didn't even do like any marketing at that time. I just put it and started telling people about it. I realized that after a while there were like people using it from, so I'm from Turkey, people using it from Turkey, people using it from United States, people using it from Germany, United Kingdom, Italy. I was like, okay, this is this is interesting. There was no even like a login or creating an account, having a memory, anything. And then the moment I wanted to make this a company was the day I realized how much money I am spending to keep that side alive with the, like with everything. I was like, okay, maybe people would pay for it to use it. And that's how we got our first customers. I had a co-founder. I have a co-founder right now. I invited one of my very best friends, Berkay. He's is the best engineer I know. And I invited him to help me build AI therapy. So the first thing we built was like basic sign up plugin page. And after that, we just built a paywall, and they were like, it was very cheap. It was like $1.99 to use it for a month, and $2. And we were like, okay, let's see if people are gonna use it. And the first day, 2 person bought it. We didn't even like send an email. We didn't even send like anything. And the first day, 2 people bought it. I was like, okay, this is gonna be something. So then we kind of I was still working as a product manager at that time, and I kept working as a product manager for a while. And after AI therapy really saw a lot of people using it, and we started getting a lot of good emails, but also a lot of bad emails about how things could be better. Because back I was working full time too at that time. I was working full time too, and we realized, okay, we have to put time onto this because we can do this better. You know it, and maybe we can actually fund our lives. But we didn't really think about making a big company and our stuff. We were thinking if we quit our jobs, maybe we can fund our lives with this. But that's how it really turned into a company. It's thankfully turned into a company by the request of the people who was using it. You know, that was the very best thing that ever happened to me in my tech life, let's say. People really asked for it.
Hmm.
Yeah. But it was good. Like it was really fun. The first days, first weeks, first months, it was very fun to see people using it. And it was very different that we see a lot of people hated the idea too. Like the reason people hated the idea was like they all associated AI with ChatGPT. Because at that time, but still ChatGPT was the main AI in everybody's mind. And ChatGPT is basically programmed to assist you, programmed to get the task done, make you happy. So it's not really a good therapy, or not even therapy, like it's not really a good mental health support because it doesn't have any framework in its core, and it's just gonna try to get things done and make you happy. So people were thinking AI therapy is the same thing as ChatGPT, and they were not good at communicating why AI therapy is different than ChatGPT, how the cognitive behavioral therapy frameworks is used in AI therapy. But we got a lot of hate too in the first days. Like I, and that was not that was bad thing at first, but then I realized that when I tell people, tell, start to communicate that difference, and people started using AI therapy, they realized that it was different. And some of those hate comments actually turn into a user for AI therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely. And I love that. I mean, the best products don't start with a kind of pitch deck, but they start with a kind of human trying to breathe again. So, I mean, yes, exactly. So, and also, like, if you could go back to that younger Ali, when do tell him about healing, help, and hope?
I would tell him it's easier than you thought. And I know a lot of people need to hear that too. It's easier than they think. It's easier than you thought. Like, it's not a magic. It's not magic. It's not anything hard. It's just starting to talk
Mm.
and starting to understand yourself. And it is very easy. Like, it is way easier than what I thought it was, let's say. But it was my experience. Maybe it's different for some other people. But in my experience, it was way easier than I thought. So that would be the thing I would say to her.
Amazing. Lovely. Great. So, great. Dear listeners, what Ali created isn't just a tool, it's a bridge for the people who fall through the cracks, a bridge for the ones who cannot afford therapy, can't get on a wait list, or can't bring themselves to say, I'm struggling. So, dear listeners, if today's conversation resonated, explore AI therapy and see how CBT can help you challenge thoughts, reduce anxiety, and build the emotional resilience one conversation at a time. So, uh, dear listeners, so this is your host Avik, and this is Healthy Mind, Healthy Life, reminding you that healing is possible and access shouldn't hold anymore because back from becoming who they are meant to be. So, Ali, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium to connect?
They can connect with me directly on X, Twitter. Like, they can find my Twitter on, it's going to be hard. It's a Turkish thing. So they can just connect me on email to it. If they can go AITherapy.care, the first email it's gonna come. It's gonna be from me. It's gonna be from personally from me. So if they just reply back, I would be the one who's answering, and they can find our Twitter page, Instagram page, other social media page, and they can connect. But the best way is just email me. Go to AITherapy.care. You're gonna find my email there too, and tell me what you think about AI therapy. If it's gonna fit the help to you, and what can we do better. That's what we're looking for. Left, like can we do better? And we would love to hear from all of you guys.
Amazing. So, what I'll do, listeners, I'll put all the links into the show notes for easy reference. And with this hope, until next time, stay healthy and stay mindful. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.